Hey guys, welcome to Day to Day with Ray, with me, Ray. So it is currently 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's actually, what time is it? Does it say? Let me say. It's 3:10, and I can't sleep. I have acid reflux really bad, so I came downstairs and I just took my acid pill. And I got out of the shower, and I put my clothes away. Yep, I swept the bathroom floor. Well, this was like between 2 and 3. And then I was sitting there, and I laid down to go to bed, and this acid is just killing me. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna take an acid pill, and I've been craving something sweet like chocolate. Like, I just want something like a piece of cake or something, but of course I'm not going to. So instead I'm gonna settle for a Mott's strawberry applesauce. Not really what I want, but it is what it is. So for this vlog, I had posted about it on my Facebook page, and I was so angry Thursday with my primary care doctor. So basically what happened is I had my appointment, and I think I told you guys before that I've been calling since my last appointment to get the results of my blood tests and like the blood work results. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll let him know, he'll call you back. He never calls me back. So because I didn't even really want to go, to be honest, on Thursday, but I went anyway. Today's Sunday. Well, now it's Sunday, but so I didn't even really want to go. So I was like, ugh. So I went anyway. And if you didn't see my last vlog, basically I went to a nutritionist, and she's like, I can look at you and tell you have Cushing's disease. She's like, your doctors aren't listening to you. And she's like, they don't have your best, they don't have your health needs, you know, whatever. So I walk into the doctor's office, and I'm sitting, you know, in the little room waiting for him. And he comes in, and he's like, hey. So he said, hey, how's it going? And I said, good. And he's like, oh, that's great. He said, so did you go see the weight loss surgeon, the bariatric surgeon? First freaking thing out of his mouth. Now, like I was talking to my girlfriend, she made a very valid point. Every time you go to the doctor, it's being heavy. Doctors have to make it a point. It's probably their job to mention your weight. But to sit there and keep pressuring you for weight loss surgery is not what you need to do. He didn't even remember the nutritionist. And I said, I looked at him, I said, no. I said, but I did go to the nutritionist like you told me to. And he said, oh, that's good. And I said, I said, look, I said, I'm just here to get my blood work results that I've been calling you for, and you haven't called me back. He's like, oh, have you? He says, nobody's told me that you've called. And I'm like, I've called like 2 or 3 times, and they're like, you'll get back to me, and you never do. And he's just like, well, let's take a look. He's like, well, nothing must have been wrong. I'm sitting there thinking, well, if nothing was wrong, you still could have called and say, hey, your lab work looks fine, you know, whatever. I don't know. So he then proceeded to ask me how the visit to the nutritionist went. And I said it went well. And I told him that she said that I have a whole thing going on that needs to be figured out before weight loss surgery is even discussed. And like I told her, and like I told my husband, because my husband's like, well, maybe you should get the surgery. And I'm like, there is an underlying issue. I said, I'm not opposed to the surgery, but I need to figure out what the hell is wrong with me first before I get the surgery. And I need to get my shit straightened out, because once you get the surgery, you can only eat, like, my thing is, like, I have a vitamin deficiency, and like I went to my mom's, and me and her were talking. She's like, honey, she's like, you had a vitamin deficiency since you were a kid. She's like, when you were a kid, you had to take magnesium all the time and zinc, and she had to take me to get vitamin shots and all this other stuff. She said, you must have just put that out of your head. Like, I remember taking a lot of pills and vitamins and stuff, but I didn't remember what they were. So she, so I had told the nutritionist this, and I had told the doctor what she said. He's like, oh, okay, well, that's good. So I said, well, what's my blood? I didn't say anything else because the nutritionist told me to be tested for Cushing's. I think you take a spit test or something, and then I have to do the 9 a.m. cortisol test, which I haven't done since. There's like a hair in my face. I'm sorry. I keep trying to find it, and I don't know where it is. So I had to take like the 9 a.m. cortisol test, and she's like, you're not your thyroid. She said, your Cushing's disease has nothing to do with thyroid. Oh, excuse me. She says it has to do with your adrenal gland. That's what it has to deal with. And she's like, your 9 a.m. cortisol test will check, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I said, no, I haven't gotten tested that. She said, well, then he didn't test you for Cushing's. And I said, well, she says, what about your thyroid? Has your thyroid been checked? I said, well, he took the blood work, but I don't know what the results are. She's like, well, did he check, what thyroid did he check? Did he check the THS? Did he take the TSH, the TC, whatever, and start naming a bunch of them? And I said, I don't know what he took. So she's like, okay. So back to my appointment on Thursday, I was kind of letting him hang himself because I was actually angry. And on the inside, like I really truly was. And I felt betrayed by my doctor. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, I just felt like, you're a doctor. Your job is to help me. Like, this shit could have been taken care of in January. You know what I mean? Like, I had all this blood work done in January. And he said, oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I was talking to a couple women. I know there's a couple people that reached out to me. There's a wonderful, wonderful group. It's just the pituitary support group on Facebook. I'm in there. There's thousands of people in there. Some are kind of like lurkers, whatever, but it's really a great group that tries to help each other out and gives advice, and everybody like looks to see, if they need help reading their blood work, or, they don't know what's going on with their tumors, or if they don't understand. There's so many people in there who's been through it multiple times, who's going through it. It's just a really, great group. So I had posted what happened with my regular doctor in there on Thursday. And the one woman told me, a couple women told me, the one particular that I was actually private messaging, she said that, she had gained 130 pounds in 13 months. And she said her doctor was the same thing. She says, your story sounds all familiar. They kept doing tests. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong. They're like, track your food, track your diet. You need to diet. You need to exercise. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I thought I heard my husband, but nothing, and then finally she found a new and that was her endocrinologist, and finally she found a new one, and they took her blood, and they're like, dude, why didn't they treat you for Cushing's? So she said, it is treatable, and once you get on the medicine, she said she dropped 60 pounds in like 3 months, and it's been like 3 months now, and she said she's just constantly finally losing as everything's going, and I'm like, this is what I need in my life. So yeah, but I even told them like what the nutritionist said, that it looks like I have Cushing's. And so anyway, so I said, okay, so what's my blood work look like? So he pulls up, he's like, oh, he's like, everything looks fine, da 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 da. I said, what about my Cushing's test? He says, everything is normal. All your levels are normal. He's like, I don't I said, well, that's funny. I said, because after I gave the nutritionist a little bit of information, she said she could look at me and tell that I have Cushing's. And he's like, oh, really? And I said, yeah. I said, and you didn't even give me the proper Cushing's testing. She said that there's two ways, well, there's other ways to test it, but the two main ways to test it is to spit in a thing and get my 9 a.m. cortisol test. I said, you never prescribed either one for me. I even asked him to check my hormone levels. He says, oh, you have to go to your gynecologist for that. She said, if you can write up blood work, you could have tested my hormone levels. And I said, and so he just like turned around and didn't say anything. And he couldn't even like look at me. Like, he was probably like, oh fuck, you know, whatever. And then I told him, and then I said, what's my vitamin counts look like? And he's like, huh, that's weird. And I was like, what's weird? He's like, he said, we didn't do your vitamins this time. And I was like, are you kidding me? And that's exactly what I said. I said, when I was in here, my last visit, I said, I was stressing to you to take and retest my vitamin levels. I said, because I have a vitamin D deficiency, I have an iron deficiency. I said, you know, he's like, well, I gave you a prescription. And after that prescription, your job is to keep up with it by taking over-the-counter vitamin D supplements. I said, first of all, you never told me that. I said, I haven't had vitamin D pills other than over-the-counter stuff since January. Or actually, well, he gave me a prescription, I think, for 3 months. But I was like, you haven't given me anything. I said, so, and you didn't tell me that. I said, when I had my tumor, I was taking vitamin D pills every single week for like a year. So what is the deal with you? You know, I wanted to say that, but I said, look, all I need is I said, look, I have an appointment with a new endocrinologist on Monday morning. I need, because it's not enough time to fax and make sure everything gets over, I need the notes for today's appointment. I need copies of all my blood work, and I need a referral. Oh my God. My cat just scared the shit out of me. And so I was furious. Like, I was so angry because he was just like, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I even told him that she had said that for him to suggest weight loss surgery without getting to the root is not cool. Like, you know, when I came in December and January concerned about my weight gain, instead of saying you need weight loss surgery, you should have been like, that's a little alarming, like, for you to be gaining this much weight. I don't know. So I was disgusted. Needless to say, I am finding, and I'm in the looks of a primary care. I think I found a new one. But yeah, I was just so disgusted and so upset because it's just, it's not a good situation. And I feel like I would not have gotten to this point if he would have truly taken an interest in my health. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she had even told me in confidentiality that my doctor is bullshit. And like I told her, like, the main doctor at this office was my first primary doctor. I've had him for a couple years. And it's like, I would go into his doctor's office and it's like, everything always went to the weight loss surgery. Not just weight loss. Because again, like my girlfriend said, every time you go to the doctors, yeah, they gotta, like, if you smoke, well, you know, if you quit smoking, or, you know, I mean, I understand they gotta make a point about the weight, but it's like, okay, I get it. Let's move on to the next subject. Okay. But every time I went in there, like, I had a heel spur. I have heel spurs. Every now and then, knock on wood, they flare up. I haven't had one in a while. I went in here to get a cortisone shot for my bone spur. well, if you weren't so heavy, and I wasn't even heavy then. To me, like, I think I was only like 240 maybe. Like, I've always fluctuated between 200 and 250. Like I said, the highest I got was like 280, maybe a little bit more than 280. But I went right back down to 240, like 230. I think the lowest, I don't know what the lowest that was, but I was almost into a size 18, which is like amazing to me, So for me, like I said, and in my whole entire adulthood, like in high school, I stayed a 16, 18, and then got up into a 2022 by 11th grade. Like, that's just my size. Then when I got into adulthood, I pretty much stayed. I was active as hell. I pretty much stayed a 22, 24 my whole entire adulthood. Then I started losing weight. I went back down to a 20. I did get up to a 24, and I got back to a 22. Went back. Like, I still have some of my size 20 jeans because I will not part with them because I want to get back into them. I have some like really cute jeans that are like 22s, 20s, and I really, really, oh my God, like those jeans like that, like look, I love the ripped look jean. I don't care how freaking old I am. I love the ripped look jean, like the jean look, whatever. I have 2 pairs of them. And when I was dieting the last time, I was almost into them. Like, I could get them up and I could get them on, but I couldn't zipper them all the way up and I couldn't button them all the way, but they were almost there. And then all of a sudden, boom, just like that. The next week, I couldn't even get them up. I was like, fuck. Like, I was so angry, but they're still hanging in my closet. And then I have like these like psychedelic, they're white jean, like a white leopard with like neon splattered paint marks on them. Well, they're sassy. I think they're sassy, and I'd rock them. But yeah, cause like my girlfriend's like, girl, why don't you get rid of these clothes? They don't fit you. I'm like, I don't care if they don't fit me. I'm not getting rid of them because they will fit me, and I'm gonna get back into them, and I am bound and determined to do it. But yeah, so I was just very, very upset. And when the doctor walked me out, because they walk you like up to the receptionist desk, he didn't even say goodbye. He just like walked right past me and went back into, it's like, I'm sorry, dude, but I called you out on your bullshit. I mean, I don't know, like, what else to say. And it's unfortunate because it's like I said, like, I feel so angry because I feel like this shit would have been nipped in the bud months ago. Because I went to him in January, like, could this be Cushing's? And I went to him in March. Could this be Cushing's? Or was it April? Probably April. I think it was like probably late March, April, because I kept gaining the weight, and I'm like, this has to be something. Something has to be wrong, because then my back started hurting and my knee started hurting, and I'm like, I'm gaining weight too fast, and I'm not trying to gain weight. So I don't. Oh God, I just feel so. I just feel angry, to be honest. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I feel angry and betrayed because you're supposed to trust your doctor. You're supposed to go to him and feel safe and comfortable, with your health. Like, that's what they're there for. And then people wonder why I have white coat syndrome. Let me tell you, even when I was to the nutritionist's office, I was sitting in there. I was having a mini anxiety attack. My stomach was rolling. I was shaking. My blood pressure was going through the roof. But once I got in there, and because that's the same thing, like at my doctor's office, they know not to take my temperature, my blood pressure, until after the visit. Because when I get in there, it's sky high. But then once the visit's over, it mellows out and I'm good again. Like, I see the blood pressure cuff and I feel my heart racing. Like, it's ridiculous. And I don't know, like, just sitting in the waiting room and just sitting in the room by yourself and thinking all this like crazy shit, like, whatever. But yeah, it's a shame because like I was saying earlier, like with my previous doctor, like, I'd go in there for a sinus infection. Well, you know, if you got weight loss surgery, you wouldn't have so many sinus infections. And it's like, what does that got to do with my freaking weight, dude? Like, so it got to the point where I was becoming more and more and more uncomfortable. Like, every time I go in there, I felt like a piece of shit. Like, when I was losing weight, it still wasn't good enough. Well, I'm glad you're losing weight, but it was a weight loss surgery. You can lose more and quicker. And it's like, it's like, dude, lay the fuck off of it. I'm sorry. Lay off of the weight loss stuff. And so I switched to, when my current doctor came to his office, my doctor was actually on vacation, so I saw him. And I really took a liking to him. And I was like, oh, okay. But then it just seems like as time has gone, this is my second year seeing him now, and I haven't seen my other doctor. But it just seems like this past year, he has turned more and more into my first doctor with the weight loss bullshit, the surgery bullshit. And I don't know, it's just very frustrating. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not opposed to weight loss surgery. But even the nutritionist said, she's like, you got a whole world of stuff going on inside you. We need to get that straightened out and figured out before you have any type of weight loss surgery. So, and I even told her, I said, thank you. I think I said it in my old video, my other video, for not making me feel crazy. Because that's exactly how I felt. I felt fucking crazy. Because they just wanted to be like, oh, well, you know, you're fat and blah, blah, blah. So, that's pretty much it. I need to get to bed. It's 3:31. And I'm tired, but I'm not. Oh my gosh. Did you hear the cats? That was my front door. That was crazy. That was like a little unnerving. But yeah, so because today, as a family, we decided to clean our moldy basement. And that was fun, let me tell you. Because I think I've mentioned it in a couple other videos. Not to sound gross or whatever. But when we moved here, there was a flood. And right before we moved in, and landlords, because they had like the whole basement done and it was a finished basement. And it flooded. They had to take up all the tiles, so now it's like a concrete floor. And they had all the sheetrock and insulation and all that got moldy and wet and gross, and it was all on the floor. So we had cleaned some of it up. And through the years we lived here, they kept saying, oh, we're going to have somebody come and do it and blah, blah, blah. And then for some reason, our one older cat, he kept pissing on it. And it was like, and then we had like another bad rainstorm and the plug outside, or was it from the snow? It was something happened and all this water went in the basement and everything got wet. And then because we have a well, so the well pump actually had to release some backup pressure or something, and that sprayed all over the basement, which is what it's supposed to do, but it went all over the drywall. And now the pan in our AC is cracked, so the condensation or whatever, the water drips down and it's all over the floor, and it's just a wet, nasty mess. And the house stinks from it. Like, we don't like really having anybody come over right now because the house just smelled like moldy basement, and it did smell like cat pee, but it's not from the litter boxes because the litter boxes are in the basement. I mean, let's just keep it real. I mean, it's just what it is. The AC would kick on and all you smell was like mold and grossness, and and I would get down there and I'd clean it up as much as I can. I try to do what I can. I'd bleach everything. I can't tell you how many bottles of bleach we went through. I'd bleach all the stuff, and I'd bleach the floors we have a big mop, or not mop, but a broom and I'd bleach the floors and push it all down to the sump pump and stuff like that. So just to kind of clean it up. And the house would smell good for 2 days or 3 days. And every time I go down the basement, we lit incense and air fresheners. And we have like 2 humidifiers. We have 2 fans constantly running in the basement. So when I came home from my mom's house, I was like, oh God, the house smells so bad. And so we finally, my husband's like, you know what, I've had the shits of it. He was like, I'm tired of the house smelling. And I was like, okay, so let's go clean the basement. And that's what we did. We had gloves on, masks, and we were shoveling it all. We have like so many trash bags outside. It's ridiculous. And we got the basement cleaned, got it all out of there. And it's much nicer now. I mean, it was hard work, and we had the basement doors open and the fans running, and once we got all of the stuff out, we scrubbed the walls with bleach, and we cleaned the floors with bleach, and we just was getting it all done. So yeah, so now the basement smells much better. The house smells better already. We went out for like an hour just to sit outside, and when we came in, we're like, it doesn't smell like mold or cat pee. Like, you know, I mean, it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm a pretty, like, it's so hard for me to clean right now because the way my body hurts and my legs hurt. But I've been trying to push through everything, and I do need to do the floors up here. But I try to clean I clean every day. Like, I tackle a room every day. It's like a vicious cycle. Like, I'm going through every room, like whether it's upstairs or downstairs, and trying to train my son to clean up his room. Yeah, right. This table is a collect-all. I clean it up and it just, or what is it, catch-all? I clean it up and then it catches everything again. But yeah, when you live with 2 messy, like, my husband is so messy. Oh my God. He drives me fucking insane. Like, I love my husband. He's a good man. The one thing that drives me absolutely fucking insane is that, okay, granted, I know I don't work right now. But even when I did work, all the housework was on me. Like, he does nothing, and it drives me crazy. I mean, granted, I know he works and he pays all the bills and he works hard, but it's just simple little shit like picking up after yourself would help me a whole lot, and he doesn't know how to do that, and it drives me fucking crazy. Oh my God. Like, he'll make a sandwich. I feel like he can hear me, that's why I'm whispering, cause even though he's sleeping. He'll make a sandwich and he'll leave everything out on the counter. And one time he did that, and I felt I was taking a nap, and I took like an hour nap, and I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the lunch meat was out, the bread was out, the mayonnaise was out, like, open. The cats had licked the mayonnaise, and the other cat was trying to get into the lunch meat packet. The cheese was out. He had cut a tomato, and the tomato was on the plate. And I'm like, I yelled up to him, and I was like, how long ago did you make a sandwich? He's like, oh, like an hour or so ago. I was like, and you didn't put it away? He's like, well, I thought I was going to eat another one, but I didn't. Again, you couldn't put the shit away? His laundry. He's in his den, in his man cave. Well, it's like his office den / whatever. He's in there a lot because he works from home sometimes. Well, he works from home a lot, but so he has like, and then that room has a closet because the closet in our bedroom is my closet. So he has his own closet in his den, and it's a nice size closet for him to hang his clothes. But he doesn't hang up, and then he complains because his clothes get wrinkly, or the cats lay on his clothes, and then the clean clothes has cat hair, and then he wants me to rewash his clothes, and I'm like, they're clean. Just, I have a lint roller. Get the cat hair off. And, oh my God, it just drives me insane. And I'll start laundry, and then all of a sudden he just throws down the steps a big pile of laundry. Like, oh, here. Or he'll like throw them down the basement steps. And I'm like, you walk past the hamper to go to bed. Why can't you bring your clothes and put them in the hamper. Like, I don't know. Like, his den is disgusting. Like I know it's a very small space, so it gets messy very quickly, but it's like, oh my God, like, you can't even walk in there. Like, there's trash all over the floor. I mean, a lot of it's paperwork, and like, he'll have a bag of chips and knock it down. He doesn't pick it back up. What Mountain Dew bottles all over the place. I'm like, dude. And then my son sees it, and my son's room is becoming like his father's den, and it is driving me crazy. So I have two messy boys, so that I have to, well, a messy boy and a messy man, but I have to clean up after them, and it drives me fucking insane because they don't know how to do anything for themselves. So it's insane. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's already a 30-minute video. It's 3:40 and we have to get up early. My husband's like, can you please get up early so we can go to the store? It's like, okay, we're just going to BJ's and breakfast. So on that note, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I will probably do another video on Monday and give you an update and see what the endocrinologist says, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.